Hi, Anti-Society! Welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we're checking out some more Tower of God Webtoon, and there was so much happening I don't even know how to recap, okay? I'm still reeling from Agraptor and Prince. I'm still reeling from the whole, like, Wangnan slash Karaka slash Jihad thing that's also going on with the ring, which is also, like, part of a key that is related to the weapons that have the months. And I just, there's so much. Bomb is trying to become a god, which is only ever turned out well for everybody. No one's ever gone evil because they tried to become a god. It's just, I'm so stressed that let's just read it, okay? Let's just continue. All right, I also forgot we're on something called a hell train going to a floor of death. It's fine. We talked about it being cold again. I'm assuming that the floor of death is cold because that keeps coming up. Oh, okay. So there's like a cold Shinsu, and that's probably related to the weather thing going on. I like that Evan gets to continue to be part of this. Honestly, he was the MVP when we were trying to get off of the name hunting station. Let's be serious. I don't know. Hockney could do anything. He could just show up. Like, who knows what he's doing? He might get bored and then we're all screwed. Honestly, fair enough to be like, I don't think anyone wants to go to the floor of death with us. That's fair. I wouldn't. Someone was like, hey, come to the floor of death with us. I'd be like, no, absolutely not. Not a chance. I'm assuming that maybe not the mysterious. We also had a shadowy figure that I feel like is a plant of some kind. Don't recruit that one, because we said something about one of the like fishermen, and I'm like, you look like you have that potential, and I would say let's not do that. Okay, I need my shoulders to calm down. I'm too stressed. I'm like wound up. Okay, farm. Feel like it should be nice, but this is the tower, and therefore it's not gonna be like a farming sim the way that I want it to be. So dramatic. I do appreciate it though. Oh yes, we're also learning about one of the techniques from the 10 families. Look, there's so much happening. I can't even keep up. There's so many strings to this web, and I'm just hoping everything holds together. I feel like he'll pick it up. He's gonna figure it out eventually. He just needs to watch it a few times. I do think it's interesting too, again, controlling something like Shinsu is like, it's so atmospheric. Like, I've talked before about how it almost bends the atmosphere, right? Like it bends the actual like space around someone when you can control it. That being able to control it the way that he's learning now is being able to manipulate a lot of that. So you need to like be aware of the space itself and also almost have the audacity to control it, to make it like bend to your will, right? So you need to like believe in a way that you actually can do something like that, when the majority of us are just like walking around and be like, I cannot bend space around me. That's ridiculous, right? Yeah, you're special. TM. Oh, we're just making black holes? That's, again, that's only ever turned out well at every point in history, that creating a black hole or being near one has always been fine. I don't like that it's quiet. I'm like, see, mushroom farm. I'm like, that seems cute and whimsical, but again, tower. And it's quiet. Oh, good. Allergies. I have a feeling that's not going to be the biggest issue here, though. I'd be suspicious if there's just no one getting on or off anywhere. Like, there's just no one around. That would make me so on edge. Yeah, I'm like, there's a tower of some kind. It's, again, because I'm like, it seems like a nice whimsical place that I'd be like, I want to live on a mushroom farm. And then I'm like, wait a second. Do I want to live on this mushroom farm? Probably not. We've seen a boy with mysterious eyes. Is he in the tower? Again, it's like a farm, there are giant mushrooms, there's a whimsical tower. This seems fairy tale, and that just, fairy tales sometimes are a lot darker than we expect, but also like tower. Okay, you seem like the silhouette of the person we've been seeing. And we paint. I'm still nervous about that. Painters, look, I say this as someone who paints, okay? Someone who's a visual artist. We're not all here. We're a little bit questionable in our stability. I'm assuming that this is also like the person we shouldn't associate with. There are a lot of weird people in this tower, yes. I don't think anything's impossible. Oh, hello, are you the one with the eyes? I'm assuming? Hockney? Oh, that's gonna trip me up. I'm Canadian. I'm gonna say that as like hockey every single time. And I apologize now. You also look like you belong in some kind of fairy tale storybook. You live in a tower and he paints? Where else would he be going? Looks like he even has a whimsical coat. Come on now. There's some kind of infighting happening. Okay, so he's a bit of a guardian, but he also seems to have a bit of a vendetta against people being around him. See, like, I get it. Barely met him, and I'm just like, you know what? I get it. I would also want to live on a farm, somewhere where there aren't anybody around. I don't have to interact with people, in a whimsical tower, and just paint. That sounds lovely. What's the lamp about? Oh, that seems bad. That seems like a bad time. Again, where else would he be going? Keep it together, guys. He's walking up the giant staircase that only leads to the train. What else could be happening? Okay, pleasant conversation. I'm hoping that means it's all right. I don't trust you, though. I feel like there's something going on with you. You're gonna double cross. No. I'm gonna go with no. I like that you're like still eating candy, though. Good for you. Oh, are we noticing the remnants of white and all that? Look at that character design. No? Is this a painting that we did? We have red light again. We had that with the Wangnan. I love the like, wait, you weren't waiting for a person? Okay, so we're looking for a painting. You entered the tower to find a painting? What's so important about it? Why was it ripped into pieces? What's up with the painting? We're gonna ask who the delivery person is. Okay. So we have to help find the painting? Maybe? I want you to be friend. Oh, is that what's is that why? Is your soul connected to the painting somehow? Yeah, you people. Okay, not a like direct connection then. It's not like they're already using him as a spy. That makes me feel a little bit better that like Sachi has some kind of connection there. Maybe we can leverage this. Also, he's whimsical and I like it. He's from the floor of death. You can be from there? Okay, so I understand. So we're like, we want that information because we have an insider. So why? Okay, is his soul like connected to the painting then? Or is the painting of something else that is also important? Interesting. The way that she's like, are you okay? You were born in a cold place. Like what? Give me more information. I want all the information about his backstory. I love that we're getting so much focus on him because we spent so long of him being a bit of a mystery background character, maybe a bit of comedic relief. And now it's like we're actually focusing in on him with tragedy. And I would prefer to not have that, but connected. Okay, because we have like red light, right? Red light with Wangnan, red light with this Hockney. So like, is Wangnan from the floor of death? Because that would be wild. Because apparently you could be from there. Because he's saying the place he's from is cold and it's getting colder. I don't know if that's going to translate all the way to floor of death, but he's supposed to have died multiple times and he hasn't. That's the whole thing, is that like, you're supposed to be dead. No apology. Get out of my face, Rachel. To quote Hockney, what a bitch. Not a direct quote. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. Dang, that look. Can we also talk about how she just like, watched Prince get eaten and we just haven't dealt with that being traumatic? I love how he's so beat up still, but he's just also covered in like his own blood. Messed up, man. I feel like it's the confidence. Like I'm assuming it's her just being like, you're gonna agree because the alternative is that your friends get hurt. And also I've already offered that like Ouyang will be fine. So obviously you're going to agree to this. Okay, Wangnan, I understand the rage. I'm with you. Dial it back, maybe just like a few. I like that you made her sweat a little bit though. You are used to being hated. You do have a tendency to make people hate you. Yes, I know I'm not special in my rage. Ugh, so manipulative. Like the way that she's like, to Wangnan, it's like actual friends, people he's connecting with, he has an emotional tie to, he has all of this guilt that we already saw, right? Survivor's guilt and feeling like these people have sacrificed themselves for him and that like it's his fault that things have happened. And then showing Rachel being like, you can just use people to get what you want, right? Like you don't actually have to like each other. If you have similar goals and they're useful, then you can just use it as an excuse to stick around each other for a bit until your goals diverge. And then who knows what happens? Maybe you fall. Maybe you get pushed off of something. I will continue to be salty. I feel like we have... don't do it. I feel like we have so many other things we could be doing. Don't be with Rachel. Rachel sucks. She betrays everybody. And now she's gonna be all smug because she got what she wanted. I don't trust anything she says. She's like, yeah, I'll do that. Again, when has she ever kept her word? Do you think it's so interesting to have the, like, again, so many moments of looking at, like, his blood-stained hands? Like, some of it is his blood, right? Some of it's, like, him being, like, injured and, like, recovering from it. And some of it's, like, the symbolism of him believing he has blood on his hands, right? It's just, like, this constant reminder of not only the guilt that he's carrying with him, but also, like, some of the rage we're starting to see of him being like, I am willing to channel that rage into action if I have to. He's definitely been pushed to a point where, like, he might break. And I don't know entirely what will happen if he actually does. Yeah. I feel like the fact that Kun already is, like, the only reason I haven't completely destroyed you is because Bam wouldn't forgive me. And now you got Wangnan being like, I am going to take bloody vengeance. And you know what? I'm with him. Look at her. Anyone, just push her over. Doesn't even have to be off anything like a tall object, okay? I just want somebody to trip her to make me feel better. Is it Kun who's just like totally tapped out? And Evan's fine, because of course he is. I'm excited to see how his skills are going though. Ooh. Like, not to my standards though. It's better. It's not good though. They're family. They're found family. That's why. Ugh, all the way back at the beginning. Absolute little cutie pie. I love the admission of being like, you're risking your life for fun. And Kun's like, started that way. This is very cynical of you, but also I get it. As someone who also is, I don't know, whenever someone's like purpose or whatever, I'm like, to be happy. That's my purpose. That's my goal. I don't really know the specifics of that from one moment to the next, but that's the main goal. So I get it. Kun and I are always just like, same wavelength. I don't know how I feel about that, because sometimes I'm like, he's a little gray when it comes to morality. He's a little bit on the edge of, could be a supervillain if he applied himself, right? Why is it oddly sweet to be like, the world will end without Bomb? That's so sweet, especially considering for a time he thought he was dead. He understands the like gut punch, the feeling of the floor falling out from under you, of knowing that this person that he has become friends with, has cared for, is going on this adventure with, he knows what it feels like to feel like that person is gone. And we've saw like the rage from him, right? Like, we've seen how, like, again, on the edge of being a supervillain Kun can be, when we had that whole speech with the like sun or whatever behind him, like all the way closer to the beginning of season 2, the menacing undertone that he can have when the people he cares about are like in danger and all of that, right? I think it's like oddly sweet, but also there's a little bit of a threat to that too. Like, I feel like Kun might watch the world burn if something happened to Bomb at this point. I think there would be some chaos in his wake. Also, these chapters have gotten noticeably longer. You're gonna be here a minute to get through them, but I'm committed. Ooh, I think it's interesting to have the like Bomb waiting for Rachel, and we also have Kun right now like laying on the ground, which is very reminiscent of that scene of Bomb in like the cavern with the light that he was looking up at. It's very reminiscent of those two scenes. Yeah, I don't like understanding Rachel. I also think it's interesting too to have the comparison there of like how Bomb felt about Rachel first season is similar to how Kun feels about Bomb now, where it's, again, it's if something happened to Bomb, right? If he went off on his own, or if he was on some kind of journey, I do not doubt for a second that Kun would just, that would be his goal, right? Like, he would just be following after Bomb. He'd be like, I need to find him, and then I'll figure it out when we get there. So I think it's really interesting to have that parallel happening of not just being able to pull from an actual part of the story where we can understand how Kun is feeling in this moment, but it's also like a parallel of him understanding Bomb, right? Like, it's a way of talking about the way that they have learned about each other and how they've managed to make this friendship between them, is that Kun can now see himself from Bomb's perspective, and this relationship that Bomb has had with Rachel, he like can understand that in a different level than he could like earlier on, or even just like earlier in this season. I don't know if it's about catching up. I think it's just about, I don't know, again, can you catch up? But also I see some of that of, again, running after Bomb in a lot of ways, right? The way that Bomb ran after Rachel. But the difference here is that, again, Bomb is like on track to, I don't know, God level stuff. It's scary, right? But like a certain point, when does he outpace you and you can't chase after him, right? Aw, the I will go as far as I can is also like bittersweet. I also love that after that, he's okay, let's keep training. Before he was like, I'm so tired. And now he's like, fine, fair point. Ugh, just making black holes seems like a dangerous thing to be able to do. It just feels like it might be too much. But also apparently it is a technique that the families know. So good to know. That is probably going to be something we need to go up against at some point. Just add it to the list of things I'm stressed about. It's probably fine. I feel like an explosion of space is also like a really bad idea. Maybe I'm just talking as like a physics nerd that I'm like, that seems like something we shouldn't do. Okay, so optimistic that we'll know a thing that is going to make us stand out, but also, again, dangerous. Yeah, I was like, this feels like we could destroy worlds, and that seems like a bad thing to have access to for anyone. I feel like I want to trust Bomb, but again, when has someone had godlike power in the tower and turned out to be all right? Even Lady Yuri, right? Super powerful, on our side sometimes, most of the time, but also like she's not like necessarily like the best moral compass. Even talking about like Kun, right? Like him and his families and everything. It's like, yeah, I like some of the characters, but not because I think that they're like morally sound, going in the right direction characters. And I think you're interesting and I can understand the motivation, but also a little bit scary when we get to some of the more powerful people. Like, it seems similar to what I already know. Like, could you just hit me with the power of a black hole and then I can figure it out? That's so shonen coded. It's giving like Dragon Ball. Just hit me really hard with the attack and I'll figure out how it works. I'll be fine, probably. It will actually try to destroy you. Maybe we don't. I have never met anyone who's just, can you throw the black hole at me? Can you make a black hole and then hit me with it? We're getting a lot of people being like, there are things worth risking my life for. And I understand that some of that is like you need to have that mentality if you're going to go to somewhere like the floor of death, right? If you're going to be taking risks where, you know, your life might be threatened, you're only doing that because there is something that is worth risking your life for, right? There's something important enough to you that you're willing to make that sacrifice or like deal with the chances of that being an outcome. It just makes me nervous because I just had to watch the brutal death of a character and I would like to not do it again. A little bit insane. Is that how we're finishing that sentence? Because that's how I feel. I don't like it. But I also understand that it's like he's gonna get her out, right? Supposedly Casino's gonna give Oryang back his ability so that he's not comatose anymore. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't trust anything that Rachel agrees to. She likes to say, oh, I'm gonna do that. And then she's, I lied. And then doesn't, because it's complicated. You are surprisingly difficult to kill. I understand why he's doing it, but also I don't like that he's, again, because we're dealing with the survivor's guilt, right? And the people sacrificing themselves. So him being like, hey, I need you to forget about me, be completely disconnected from me. And also I need you to survive this. And I get what he's doing. It just makes me sad because team sweet and sour. And also I feel like it means that, I love the little picketing of stay with us. It also means that like, Misung's gonna have to be the one to be like, hey, so some things happened. Love that we got some princesses training as well. We finally tracked down Dorsey. I love all the training montages. Everybody's trying to get stronger. Everybody's trying to figure it out. Ooh, the time passing. Black Mountain seems ominous. Don't like how everything is... I don't like how we've time skipped a bunch. I'm like, you've not given me enough prep now. I'm just nervous. Yeah, I don't like that we're also going to be dealing with people who are getting on the train here, right? Like, the kind of power levels we're going to be dealing with. Anyone else who's, yeah, I'm going to go to the floor of death. I don't trust them. Have to disqualify everybody. How are we going to pull that off? Ugh, her coat's cute though. There's so much happening. Did he? I'll believe it when I see it. I do like that when it comes down to like people being saved or whatever, I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. But when it comes to like character deaths, it's fine. Like a part of my brain's like, Aquaraptor's fine. Like it's fine, whatever. My ability to suspend my disbelief is very specific to what I would like to accept as my own reality. Yeah, she also has to hold down the fort now. She has to be like, I need to make sure that Oryang actually gets saved. So much to explain. Interesting too to be like the shadow over her face, right? Because we know a bunch more about what's going on. But it's like, just focus on the fact that we've succeeded in this thing that we set out for. Like someone got saved. And it's the same thing with Wangnan, right? I need someone to survive this. I need you to be as like completely separate from me and just forget that there's a connection because people connected to me end up dead. I do understand her also being like, I don't want to do that because we've already seen her with a bunch of guilt and her trying to get stronger and trying to prove herself and trying to like not be like a burden or bringing down the team and like the people that she's traveling with. We've seen so much of her trying to prove herself. And I totally get her being like, no, I'm not going to be some kind of bargaining chip that makes you do something by yourself that puts you in danger. Also, again, another person being like, I've accepted that there are risks to what I'm doing, but he's afraid of you dying. She's a little determined too. We know that she's gonna leave though. I've never trusted you to begin with. I didn't really expect you to save me anyway. Yeah, I can understand also being like, I need someone to make sure that he actually follows through, make sure that people understand what's going on, make sure that Oryang gets saved. That's the main focus. So I can understand also agreeing to be like, fine, like I'll leave, not because I want to leave you by yourself, but because I want to make sure that we save our friend. The Yellow Prince. That's descriptive. Is it gonna give us a background on stuff about him though if we look it up with Emily? Oh, there's so many people who are like, don't know what's going on. Like they don't know about like people who fell from the bridge that I'm firmly in denial for. And then also not telling about like Aquaraptor and Prince. She's seen some things. Again, watched Prince get eaten. I don't fully know what that means, but I don't want to know really. Like I'm totally okay with not having a visual for what exactly that entails. Yeah, I was gonna say they're all gonna attack him, aren't they? It's not gonna work out. I feel like maybe we shouldn't just be a weapon. I don't know. I get it though, if I should just do what I'm told and not let my emotions get in the way. And he's being told like, go and give the power back to Oryang. That's the deal. Get off the train, go and do this. And he's just like following it, but it makes me feel like maybe he's gonna do something for himself and it's not gonna help us out. I like that she's suspicious. It's a big thing to promise. I also feel like he's got things going on. She's willing to make deals with everybody. You became allies with them first. I'm not confident that you'll survive the floor of death at all. Unfortunately, you also seem to be a bit like a cockroach in that I can't get somebody to take you out. None of it seems to work. Out of all of the characters that could just survive through crazy situations, why is Rachel have to be one of them? You get like a haircut? Just feel like we're doing a lot of stuff. A lot of things are happening. We're seeing like a different version of him. I just feel like that's what's going on. And I'm like, I don't know. It's like when like Shibisu gets mad and I'm just like, I am suddenly very uncomfortable because I don't know what's going to happen because that's not like his persona. And I feel like Wangnan has like a certain kind of slapstick persona and now he's in a different mode and I don't know what that's gonna mean. Even like Hokkai's like, I don't know how to take this. I do think it's so interesting to have these three in this panel and none of them actually trust each other. Like they're all at the moment traveling together, but I don't believe for a second that they're working together. Like they're all just waiting for their moment to do their own thing. I'm here for that. I'm just worried about what that might mean for you. Ooh, hello? Did we get hit with the black hole and it didn't turn out well? We seem to still be alive and we can do it after we got hit. That worked. I feel so many things. Like on the one hand, I understand like Wangnan making the deal, right? Because it's about getting Misung out of the way. That's like the last person that he needs to not have be a hostage, the last person he needs to get out of the situation so that they're not going to get harmed. And it also results in him hopefully being able to save Oryang, which is like the main goal that we had. So it's him kind of bookending that. And it also feels a little bit like him kind of closing the book on Team Sweet and Sour, which makes me a little bit nervous because I like Team Sweet and Sour and I want him to still be like our sweet boy with his Pokemon balls and everything, but it seems like we're getting like a different version of him. So I feel like a lot of that was him finishing that part of it and making sure that no one was like connected to him directly could be used as leverage, and now he's doing something by himself, and that also makes me worried because I'm like, I feel like we're a little bit in this reckless mode and it seems like we're not easy to kill, so that just seems like even more of a incentive to be reckless. And I say that also within the same couple of chapters of Bam being like, I really feel like I would figure out how to make this black hole if you just hit me with one. And then it worked. Oh, there's so many things happening that stress me out. And I feel like we're about to go to the floor of death. And that's gonna be worse. That's gonna be worse. Even if I am intrigued by the fact that you can be from there and we just have a person now who's a painter, which I quite like, and he seems very whimsical. I'm just worried. I'm always worried about new people. I'm suspicious of everyone. Look how it's turned out. He was all shadowy when we got introduced to him first. How am I supposed to take that? I need a nap after I read these chapters because I'm just like stressed about everything. But I hope you enjoyed reading that along with me. You can click this playlist to go into my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so next time I post a Tower of God reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.